When Stan's serve was really on, there wasn't much you could do against it. On grass or cement, it was formidable. It was fast and it was heavy. The ball carried a lot of pace, making it even harder to handle. Stan's imposing size didn't hurt him either. When he stood up there to serve, some players would lose to him psychologically before he served the first ball.
The serve is the only time you have complete control of when and where you're going to hit the ball. Your opponent is at your mercy, so take advantage of that. It's true that the serve is one of the most difficult strokes to hit, but don't let that intimidate you. Now let's look at some of the fundamentals of this stroke. The foundation for every good stroke is the grip. And that's of course true with the serve as well. When I was a kid, I first started playing the game about 10 years old, I used the Eastern forehand grip for my serve. Within 2 years, I moved the grip over to the Eastern backhand grip. This allowed me to get more spin on the serve as I took that nice full swing through the ball. Now some players grip the racket too tightly. You can see their forearms flexed there and their upper arms. When they do that, they'll tend to muscle the ball over the net and they really don't get too much power. Looks like this. Now, if you can hold the racket nice and loosely, you'll see that your forearm is loose, your upper arm is loose, and you'll be able to get that whipping motion through the serve and get much more power, like this. To prepare for my serve, I start with my front foot at a 45-degree angle to the baseline. The back foot is in line with the front foot, so if you drew a line between the toes towards your target, you'd be lining up right at that corner. Okay, now I'd have my front foot here 2 inches behind the baseline, so I make sure I don't foot fault. And then my pre-swing routine should be the same every time, just like a basketball player shooting a free throw. I bounce the ball a couple times, keep my knees nice and flexed, make sure my grip is loose, and I think about that target in my mind. I don't have any problems with my physical routine because I've done it the same way every time. All I'm thinking about is my strategy. Some people think the toss is the least important part of the serve. I think it may be the most important part of the serve. Have you ever tossed the ball like this? I'm sure we all have at one time or other. But there are 3 things wrong with that toss. First, there's hinging at the elbow, hinging at the wrist, and there's too much spin on the ball. Now, the correct way to hold the ball for the toss is to hold it like you're holding an ice cream cone. With your hand in this sideways position, there'll be no hinging at the wrist or elbow, but the lever will be from the shoulder. In this position, you can place the ball up so your contact point will be with your arm and your racket fully extended in front of the front foot. I toss the ball far enough into the court in front of me so that I can lean into the serve and get power behind my serve. If I were to let the ball bounce in the court instead of hitting it, it would bounce about a yard in front of the baseline. I try to throw the ball in the same place for every serve, but if I don't, I catch it and start again. I never go after a bad ball toss. With a consistent toss, you'll find you can dictate where the ball will go instead of the toss dictating where you hit it. You'll find there will be a direct correlation between the consistency of your toss and consistency of your serve. I start my service swing with both arms forward. From there, as I toss with my left arm, I bring my right arm back into what I call the hurrah position for obvious reasons. From there, I go into the back scratching or the trophy position, just like those little guys on top of all your trophies at home. At that point, I go up and forward and follow through towards my target. I start with my weight forward as I'm bouncing the ball. Then I shift it back and then forward as I go up to hit the ball. Some players start with their weight back and go straight forward, but this rocking motion helps me with my transfer and rhythm of my serve. After the toss, I like to keep my left arm up because it helps me with the position of my body and it keeps me from turning into the serve too soon. I like to have a good knee bend because it gives me acceleration into the serve and gets me moving towards the net. A good shoulder turn helps me to rotate into the shot and gives me that added power when I need it. To help with the consistency on my serve, I like to keep my head up all the way through the serve, just like the golfer keeps his head down all the way through the stroke. Whether you serve and volley or serve and stay back, a good follow-through across your body towards your target is vital. I prefer to serve and volley. It's won a lot of big matches for me. Great serves are not necessarily fast serves. Consistency, control, and variety, these points are as important to you as speed. So work on control and consistency, and getting the most of those first serves in, and don't worry about aces. As for variety, let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. I hit the big flat serve when I really want to go for power. This serve has less margin for error because it has less spin and it crosses the net by only 6 to 12 inches. This serve is effective on all surfaces, but it really is effective on fast surfaces like grass or cement because it really takes off. It will often force a weak return, which I can put away with a good volley. You need to practice the big flat serve so you can have confidence to use it in a match. But once you do, it can be quite an intimidating factor. Sometimes you will try to muscle that flat serve too much and you'll lose your timing. So as in golf, the harder you want to hit the ball, the more relaxed you should be. I feel when my flat serve is working effectively, I'm pretty tough to beat. The slice serve is hit with the racket in this position. As the racket is coming across the ball, it imparts side spin on the ball and causes the ball to curve in flight. The slice serve is an effective attacking serve. Just as a baseball pitcher mixes up his pitches, a good server will mix up his serves. The side spin on a slice serve keeps the ball low when it bounces. It can draw the opponent wide on the deuce court. It can be used to jam the opponent by serving into his body. The toss for the slice can be a little bit more to the side, but be sure you don't throw it too far to the side or you will telegraph the serve to your opponent. The slice serve will not be hit as hard as a flat serve, but it can be just as effective for you. The twist serve, which I don't recommend for beginners, is hit with the racket head coming from an extreme angle, coming from below the ball, across the ball, imparting side spin and top spin, so the ball hits and bounces away from your opponent when it hits his court. The twist serve is sometimes called a kick serve. It requires a tremendous amount of arch of the back. Very few players use it, and if they do use it, they use it sparingly. When I do use it, I use it as a change-up. It keeps my opponent off balance if he's returning well, and it's a good serve if he doesn't like to hit the high bouncing ball. The twist serve also gives me more time to get to the net, and unless my opponent moves in on the return, he'll probably hit a nice high one that I can knock off for a winner. This serve may win you some points, but I would not recommend that you build your whole game around it. My second serve is somewhere between the slice serve, in which the racket's like this, and the twist serve, where the racket's like this. It still imparts side spin and top spin on the ball, which enables me to swing as hard on my second serve as I do on my first serve, but with more margin for error. I'm sure you've heard it said that your serve is only as good as your second serve. Why is that? Well, anybody can hit the ball hard, but you must be able to depend on your second serve, especially in those crucial situations. To get the second serve in consistently, you must practice it. Now, the dilemma that you have is that the second serve must go in the court or you lose the point. But if you hit it too easily, then your opponent's going to take advantage of you. Speed is important, but depth is even more important on the second serve. I try to keep the ball within a yard of the service line so my opponent won't be able to step in and take advantage of it. To do that, I make sure that I keep my arm up, my head up, and I hit up at the ball. The racket head speed is the same on the second serve as it is on the first serve. But on the second serve, I'm hitting up at the ball, imparting side spin and top spin, which gives me more consistency and depth with my serve. If you have confidence to get your second serve in all the time, you'll be surprised how much better you hit your first serve.